everybody, and welcome to the Rocksmith Weekly Developer Livestream. My name is Dan Amrick. I'm your community developer. I'm going to use my arms, my legs, and my fingers to bring you a 5-pack from The Pretenders this week. Very happy to have this band. I lobbied for this. I don't have a lot of power, but I was like, I really hope we can get The Pretenders. And they're like, we'll keep you posted. And that's about all I do. We're going to play all 5 of the songs in the Pretender songs because they are 5 Stone Cold classics from the 70s and 80s. So hopefully you recognize some of these. If not, we're about to jump into the trailer and you'll get a quick refresher. When we come back, Brass and Pocket kicks us off with Kokol and Arthur, so stick around and thanks for being here.
I found a picture of you. Hijack my world at night to a place in the past we've been cast out of. Oh, now we're back in the fight. We're back on the train. Oh, back on the chain gang. Circumstance beyond our control. In the middle of the road, we see the darndest things. Like fat guys driving round in jeeps through the city wearing big diamond rings and silk suits. Past corrugated tin shacks full of kids. So man, I don't mean a Hampstead nursery. When you own a big chunk of the bloody third world, the babies just come with the scenery. Now come on, baby, get in the road. Come on now, in the middle of the road, yeah. Got something winking at you, gonna make you notice. Don't get me wrong, if I'm acting so distracted, I'm thinking about the fireworks that go off when you smile. Don't get me
And we will play all 5 of those songs on today's stream. And you may learn some things. Like a lot of people, it's funny, this came up in the chat again. Are the Pretenders an American band or an English band? And the answer is kind of yes. Chrissie Hynde was born in Akron, Ohio, so very American, but she was in England and worked in England when she formed the band The Pretenders. So the band is a British band, but led by an American. Go figure. But can't we all just get along across the pond? Sure, why not? We're going to play Brass in Pocket first, as promised. And joining us in the studio are 2 of my favorite people who have ever sat on these stools in the history of man. It's Jason Kokel in the center and our friend Arthur Von Nagel on the side. Hi. Thank you for stopping playing Switch long enough to join us today on the stream. I know you're a really big fan. You're totally digging the thing, right? Like that's that would be top on your Christmas list for everybody else for the holiday shopping list. Yes.
Yes, it would.
That's what is this a problem?
No.
I was gonna say like you keep coming in saying like, oh, this was so good and I did this on the Switch and I really love it. This I was like, this is not a problem.
I shudder to think what the chat is saying at this moment.
I think we probably have an awful lot of Nintendo fans in our chat room. And
but yes, I love the Switch. I'm play a lot of Mario and Rabbids. And yeah, it's really, really good.
Just Ubisoft games? That's all you get?
I've been playing Mario and Stardew Valley and yeah, tons of good indie games on that too.
All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Kokel, you are doing Brass in Pocket, and Arthur has joined you on Drop D Bass. Besides the ridiculous playthroughs you were doing before we started shooting that are now still making me giggle, anything you want to do to set up Brass in Pocket?
It's a little bit more difficult than one would imagine just by listening to it.
Okay.
I'll put that for the guitar arrangements, there are 3. Even though they only have 1 guitarist, except for when Chrissie Hynde plays guitar, but she didn't play on this song. There are so many guitar parts that we kind of just whittled it down to 3, and the main lead one is kind of what their main guitarist would play in a live setting. So it's a sort of a hybrid between rhythm and lead. So it's missing a lot of these palm mute little lead parts that are sort of incidental. They're there, but aren't what he plays live. So this is like if you were going to play this song in a band, you'd probably play this arrangement that I'm playing. Yeah.
It's always good to know.
Yeah. So there's a lot of arpeggios in it. So get used to some string shifting and all of that.
All right.
Yeah.
Then let's see it. Brass in Pocket by the
check it out.
Pretenders, one of the 5 songs in this week's Pretenders Song Pack. And when we come back from this song, hey, it's time for the first giveaway. We will be giving away some great gear from Ernie Ball, and we'll give you ample opportunity to take a look at it before you have to enter.
Got brass in pocket. Got paddle. I'm gonna use it. Intention. I'm feeling mental. Gonna make you notice. Got motion, restrained emotion. I've been
I
diving.
love the soul hammer.
Leaning, no reason. Just seems so pleasing. Gonna make you notice. Gonna use my arms, gonna use my legs, gonna use my style, gonna use my senses, gonna use my fingers, gonna use my imagination.
You know, you mentioned that this song is a little trickier than it sounds, and it really does sound approachable. The bass line seems pretty straightforward. But yeah, those little arpeggiated chords, a couple people were pointing out the alternate picking or stuff like that they were seeing that would really sell this song, make it a little bit easier to do. But yeah, it's not as straightforward as it might seem.
It's really it's overall the approach of the song, even though it has dynamics and it's a little bit quieter, a little bit louder. It's a very gentle sounding song, but what's neat about it is some of the guitar parts are really busy, and that one of the arpeggiated section does a thing that's called ostinato, where it's a irregular number of beats that cross over a measure. And so it's just this repeating pattern. Which is really ethereal sounding and nice, but that's one of the hardest parts in the song, because you have to keep it up, and it's crossing over beat lines and bar lines, and it never really quite lines up. It would take, it's like the ratio of 3:2 or something like that.
Right.
So, yeah. So
you sort of have to keep your own beat.
Yeah. But yeah, this is a song that's been a favorite of mine for a long time. Really, I mean, I think it came out the year I was born.
1980?
No, I actually thought it was 75. But maybe you're right. You're right. It is 80.
I thought it was late 70s. That's why I said 70s, 80s band at the top of the show. But it claims it's 1980 on our list.
The thing is, there's a rehearsal video of them playing this song in 1979 on YouTube, and it's great. It's like 3 cameras in the room. I think it's their rehearsal space, and it's probably around. The song was probably just written, or they just because it's a little bit different. It's basically the same, but you can see how they were kind of approaching it then. But it's really nice to see the band in that raw form, where none of the overdubs in the studio. It's just the one guitarist and not covering kind of all the parts. So I kind of use that as the basis of, okay, at the time this is what you would have done. So I'll just gonna keep it like that. Yeah,
cool. Really. James Honeyman Scott was the guitarist. A couple people they were like, really, this person deserves credit as the player. I think he is a bit of an underappreciated gem.
Oh yeah.
But cool. Thank you both very much. Anything you wanted to add there,
no, just
Arthur?
It's awesome that we're getting more, women in the game.
Yes, imagine that, a female-fronted band and a songwriter. Who knew?
Yeah, it's great. So
and she's just amazing. Really, just for a long career that's still going. They're still out there doing it, and but yeah, she's been cool since the beginning. When they started. So it's really great pack.
Excellent. So, thank you both.
Cool, thanks.
It's time for that first giveaway we were talking about. Every week, our friends at Ernie Ball hook us up with some gear to give to you, and it looks exactly like this. If you would like to win this stuff, you need to follow the instructions of our helpful little gnomes in the chat room. That includes UB Vertigo and Honeypot01. They are our official representatives, Doug and Samuel, respectively. And everything you see here, you're going to get if you win the giveaway. Now, we have 2 of these packs to give away. We will give away 1 now and 1 later, so let's just keep it simple and just give away 1 at a time. Brand new regular slinky strings for both your guitar and your bass. The Wonder Wipe system, which is a really handy way to keep your guitar clean and fresh. And also, make your strings last longer if you clean them more often. Peg winder, always good to have these around. I used ours, the one that I have in our little kit at the office, just last week when I was changing some strings on one of our in-house Gibsons. Plus, a brand new strap. They are black, as shown in the photo. We do get an assortment of different colors, but at the moment, they are jet black. And last but certainly not least, a dozen Ernie Ball picks and 3 picks from us. These are our very special, only can get them here, Rocksmith imprinted promotional picks. And we'll send you 3 of those, a mix of the older white design that's running out and the newer pink design that just recently came in. So all this can be yours if you are selected by random by the Moobot that lives in our chat room and is kept under tight control by UB Vertigo. So good luck to you and yours. If you don't win the first one, again, don't panic. We will give away another pack that will even use the same graphics. It's so incredibly similar. Plus, we have some DLC to give away a little bit later in the show as well for this song. So it's good, and I wish you good luck. And of course, thank you to our friends at Ernie Ball. If you are just tuning in, you've jumped in just one song too late, but we still have 4 more songs from the Pretenders this week. This is the Rocksmith live stream. We are live from San Francisco, and I am joined, as always, by some of our developers and note trackers. Arthur there. Arthur, I didn't get to mention before. He's one of our producers, and of course, Jason Kokel, who was on before, he's one of our note trackers. And next up, I have 2 note trackers because they and they're both named Brian. Oddly enough, it's Brian Shu in the center and Brian Pody on bass. Hi there, guys.
Hello. It's not that odd to have.
It's not that odd to have multiple
Or
Brians.
3.
Yeah, that's. I wonder if people know that's why we call you Pody. It's just, and we call Shu Shu. It's like mostly all the Brians have to go with their surnames, or else we'd go Brian, and like 15 people would turn around. Before we get too much further, I think we need to talk about the new thing that's in Shu's lap. Shu just got a brand new guitar, everybody.
yeah.
And I didn't know if you were going to bring it on or not, but I'm kind of glad you did. You want to tell people what on earth that is?
Yeah, it's a Kiesel. They used to be called Carvin guitars, but they changed it to their original
Yeah, the
company
family
name.
name.
The family name. Actually, Carvin is the 2 sons of the original guy, Mr. Kiesel's, and then both of their names put together. I forgot what their names are, but anyways.
One would guess Vincent.
Yeah, something like that. Carl and Vincent.
Carl and Vincent, maybe. I don't know. Somebody's going to fact check this in about
Carvel
30
and
seconds.
Vince. Yeah, but yeah, this is a headless guitar that I
Joshua
custom built.
David Entertainment just said that guitar is missing its head. Very observant, Joshua.
I'm a big fan of headless guitars.
So are these double ball end strings? Do you have to buy special strings for that?
You can put double ball ends, but this one, when I got it, they just used regular strings. So
Oh,
you
wow.
can just, it has some screws up here, so you can just pull the string through and then clamp it down.
Very
and then
nice.
Cut it here, and then you do all the tuning down here.
Okay.
Kind of like a violin. I mean, of course, a violin also has
Right.
tuning pegs. But yeah, Kiesel's basically a custom shop kind of company, so you can go on their website and just build a guitar to all your specs. This particular model is Alan Holdsworth's personal model, and I just chose kind of some different woods and stuff that I liked, like the color, the pickups I wanted, and then also like you can get a whammy bar and whatever.
Sure.
And yeah,
So you can start using this with Super Soul Bros, right?
yeah
On the road,
yeah,
particularly?
yeah, especially at fly dates. Flying out early January to go to MagFest again.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, I wanted to bring this along. I do have another headless guitar called a Strandberg, and that one's cool too. Kind of a different beast. That's definitely more metal. This one's more kind of a fusion jazz guitar.
Right.
So
It's amazing how tiny it is. Like when you have it in the case, it just looks like you're carrying around a toy.
yeah,
Yeah,
it
and
does.
this is not a short scale instrument. This is a full scale instrument,
Yep.
right?
Yeah. And it sounds huge. It's
It does.
it's
Even acoustically.
Yeah,
really
it's
resonant.
a really big sounding guitar. I don't know if a part of that's because it's chambered, like the sides here, both wings are chambered.
Or like drilled out so that there's some
So-
air in there.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's a great instrument. I think you can actually get this just completely solid too. So if
Yeah.
you wanted like a mini headless, I guess it's kind of a humbucker telly
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Like a tiny telly.
Yeah.
Well,
They're a cool company.
Happy New Guitar Day.
Thank you. Man, their website's so dangerous. I hate surfing their website.
It is honestly Carvin. Back when it was Carvin, that's where I would go to drool when I was in high school and going like, oh, one of these days I'm gonna get me a
Yeah,
DC
they used to have
127
those
or
awesome
something. Yeah.
catalogs.
Oh, the catalogs were just it was
They're amazing.
it was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Well, and having both gone to MI, their like shop is right by the school.
Yeah.
So it's hard to avoid going in there all the time.
Also,
I
right
did go
next
in there
to
once.
Mesa Boogie's store
Right,
as
yeah.
well. So
Yeah, that little stretch on the strip is
And-
a really dangerous place for any
the
guitarist
double
while it.
Sam
Yeah.
Ash and then
yeah,
probably the
the
best Guitar Center.
the Hollywood Guitar Center's like vintage guitar room.
Oh my
down
goodness
there.
gracious!
It's amazing.
Yeah, Rickenbacker, the light show guitar was in there when I was up there for sale for like $25,000, and
Wow.
I just stood there and looked at it, and I tried to explain to my wife why that was a really big deal, and she did not care. Our next song is I'll Stand By Shoe. Stand By You by the Pretenders, because we always shove Shoe's name wherever we can into something else, even when it doesn't fit. But this time it does.
Yeah.
Which one of you fine note trackers tracked the notes?
Brian did.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did.
No, it's a good bet that Brian... Shoe, I think you did this track.
I did.
What kind of stuff are we looking at technique-wise? What are we going to run into?
So I'm playing the lead part. The rhythm guitar path is more of a hum and strum, so you just get your kind of basic, you learn how to play the chords, and then you strum along and sing along, I don't know, whatever.
Campfire version.
Yeah, campfire version. And then the lead guitar part actually has quite a bit of like noodleage. I don't know if anybody saw Sam's awesome encore video, but it's a lot of like kind of just little chordal embellishments and you know, just little extra noodly things that I
Sort of
think are really
elevated a
cool.
bit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
just kind of give it some color. Yeah, well, I mean, we can play it. And you
Let's
guys can
play
see
it. I'll Stand By You by the
I
Pretenders.
don't remember what the bass is like at all.
It plays notes.
Yeah, and you know what? I'll bet you that Pody doesn't necessarily know what the bass does either.
I got like a third of the way through it,
All right. Hey, that's pretty good.
and then I had to run up here to set up.
After this, we'll give away some DLC, actually. So stick around.
Why you look so sad? The tears are in your eyes. Come on and come to me now. Don't be ashamed to cry. Let me see you through. 'Cause I've seen the dark side too. When the night falls on you, you don't know what to do. Nothing you confess could make me love you less. I'll stand by you. I'll stand by you. Won't let nobody hurt you. I'll stand by you. So
It's tough to play a fade out, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just get that volume pedal and just sort of back off all the way through. Hey, you handled that pretty well, Pody, for not having played more than the third. Any surprises along the way in the
Good
bass?
enough. It's pretty straightforward, really.
Yeah.
Like, so the rhythm switches up probably more than anything else between like playing long sustained notes and then kind of breaking up the beats more. But
I know that sometimes these sort of mid to slow tempo songs, people don't get really excited about them. One of the criticisms actually I heard online for this pack was you didn't put enough in there for people that want to rock. And I was like, well, you know, these are also songs that are their natural tempo gives newer players a chance to react. Like I think sometimes people forget that just the act of switching between bar chords or even open chords, cowboy chords, is something that is a skill that has to be learned. It doesn't come naturally. So when you have a song that is sort of deliberately paced or a little bit slower paced, sometimes that's easier for people to come to terms with and becomes a good stepping stone to move on to the up-tempo or the songs that really rock or whatever.
right. And I mean, if you want to play more notes, you can always play more notes. But laying back and playing something more simple and maybe learning to have some taste isn't necessarily a bad
That's
thing.
true. Taste is something that is hard to actually teach. It's sort of like you have to have poor taste and then recognize that you have poor taste before you
Take a
can
step
really
back.
acquire good taste when you're playing guitar. Yeah, you know, I mean, many blues players have said it's the notes you don't play, right? Was it B.B. King, I think, has famously said it?
Yeah.
It's the notes you don't play.
I mean, that tune is actually kind of challenging for... I mean, my part was kind of difficult because he isn't super consistent across the whole thing. He's embellishing notes all over the place and just like constantly doing new things. And then there's sort of like he's doing these solos, kind of understated solos where it's all like kind of chord work, but he's like just moving up and down. It's I mean, it might not be like Dragon Force or something, but it's still hard in its own way.
Right. Well,
You
yeah,
know,
it's all about
it's
context,
its own
isn't it?
challenge, so.
Hey, and that was from 1994. I said at the top of the show that nothing was past the 80s, and I was wrong. Big Tony Purple pointed that out.
You weren't wrong. You were mistaken.
No, I was wrong. It's okay. I'm wrong. I actually thought that was from like the mid to late 80s.
It does have a very 80s sound to it.
Yeah, well, maybe it's just because
Chorus
chorus. Yeah, like I love chorus, so everything sounds like chorus to me.
Chorus
anyway.
and reverb.
All right, well, thank you both.
Thank you.
very much. We're going to take a short break, and by a short break, I mean I forget what video we actually queued up.
3.5 minutes.
Oh, that's right. It's a 3.5-minute video. So this one's kind of an odd one because we haven't shown this on the show before. But as you may know, Studio San Francisco is also the studio that makes South Park: The Fractured But Whole. And we have more projects in the works. And so we are actually hiring. We're looking for talented folks to join our team. So to that end, we made a little recruiting video. And by we, I mean other people outside of this room. We're just playing it back. But if you haven't seen that, and if you know somebody who's talented and wants to make games on a professional level and would not mind living in this gorgeous city that we call San Francisco, take a look at this, send them our way, and when we come back, we'll play some more music. So thanks for sticking around, and we'll be right back.
This experience means a lot to me. I moved across country for it. I didn't know what I was doing when I first started. It's really been challenging. It's really been growing for me personally. I've been able to prove to myself that if I can do this, I can do anything. My name is Kimberly Wigand, and I'm an associate producer at Studio SF. On South Park: The Fractured But Whole, I'm primarily working on art and animation as sort of the producer and project manager to help those teams. We just hit gold, which is really exciting, and the team is super excited to have hit this milestone and to know that in just a few short weeks the game is going to be out and people are going to be playing it all over the world. So I think what's unconventional about our studio here is that we're willing to do the projects that are scary. So any of the ones that maybe require a more agile or flexible studio. So they developed Rocksmith here, and then they developed Rocksmith 2. We really showed that we could bridge the gap and make it a really fun experience that has just grown steadily over time that people love. So when South Park came into play, that was another thing where it's scary, it's big, it's working with a Hollywood studio that is on air all the time, and they are known for iterating and being fast.
When I think of Ubisoft San Francisco, I think this is a great place to take risks. It's a big company, but we feel small inside a big company. We feel like almost like a startup. It's small teams trying to push the innovation that we can make in games.
Coming to Ubisoft San Francisco was a thing that kind of got me kind of creatively kickstarted again. I previously worked at Telltale Games, Walking Dead Season 1, Walking Dead Season 2, The Wolf Among Us. It's easy to get kind of complacent and find one thing that you're really good at and keep doing it. Especially the team we were looking to leave with, we all were ready for a new challenge. Myself and about 10 other people are kind of working on the foundation for what will be Studio San Francisco's next big project.
We have a shot at doing something special, at taking risks not just on the scope of a project, but on really in shipping a game that's never been shipped before.
I think I would say that if you are looking for a position where you can grow and you can challenge yourself,
You're just every day pushed to your limits, and it really feels like I've grown. I mean, I've been here 7 months now, but I feel like I've learned like 7 years worth of information.
if you want to be a pioneer in the industry, then this is probably the place for you.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Rocksmith live stream. My name's Dan Amrick, I'm your community developer, and you have stumbled upon our fun little show where we play we play all the songs, or at least some of the songs, but this week we're playing all the songs that come out for DLC for Rocksmith every week. And we do that. If you're unfamiliar with Rocksmith, this is a learning tool that you can run on your PC or your gaming console, and it teaches you how to play real guitar for real. Once again today, man, out on the wild and crazy internet, I had somebody say, well, I don't think it really teaches you how to play. Oh, it really does. We have so many success stories, and I feel like I'm going to go blue in the face just saying, no, it really does work. If you don't believe us, try it. Because there's actually, I don't know if people know this, but isn't there a free sample? Isn't there a free version on, there's a sample version on Steam, right? Can't you get a demo? Or was that Rocksmith 1 that you could get the demo?
There's no 2014 demo.
There's no 2014 demo? But there's a there's the original 2011 that has a playable demo.
There's also an iOS version that is free.
That's a good point. If you're in Canada, you can actually try out the Rocksmith method on iOS. That's true. That's David Stevens. He would know. He's our QA lead here in the studio, and he's joined, of course, by Anthony Martinez, a note tracker, which tells you pretty much what you need to know about who did the next song in our library. I believe
it was David.
It was David.
It was all me.
Yeah, it was probably David.
I take all the credit.
Well, David, what do you want to tell us about Back on the Chain Gang by the Pretenders, which is a 4-minute song from 1984? So there's half the information that I could tell you.
I grew up with all this music.
Yeah.
I know all these songs, heard them throughout my childhood. This was actually my favorite of the bunch, largely in part because I always wanted a band called Pigeons from Hell. You'll get that later.
You'll get that later, yeah. Stick around.
Yeah, it's all good stuff. A lot of it is very approachable, and there's a lot of techniques that we don't necessarily cover in the rest of the library that you'll see in these songs.
Anthony, if you were going to pick his brain about the creation of this song, since he did the note track, what kind of things? What are those kind of techniques that we might run into on this song?
Well, I am playing the lead arrangement. There are bends, so single nut string bends, arpeggios, slides, pull-offs, hammer-ons. Yeah, I guess it's a mixed bag.
Well, I mean, is this Chrissy Hines' line, or is it James Honeyman Smith's line on this one, doing the lead? Because I think she generally does
it's not Hines,
rhythms.
No. Yeah,
right.
yeah. And I would assume that,
James Honeyman Scott.
That he recorded these tracks. There's a lot going on. Very tasteful, though. He
Yeah.
serves the song so well.
That's kind of what I wanted to suggest. It's clear that this is a guitarist who has like a large toolbox, but doesn't feel the need to use every tool, and every tool is not a power tool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And what's interesting about that is that it doesn't make these parts easy to play. You know, like they're not necessarily easy to play. He just complements the entire song so well.
Right.
And this is actually a song that I first heard when I was like 7 years old. And I was drawn to that intro guitar riff, like the main like lead
That's
hook
interesting.
line. Yeah, and I was like, oh man, that'd be cool to play someday.
And here you are, having gone, okay, now I really know how to play it. Now I'm going to teach everybody else how to play it.
That's, I would say that I learned this song through Rocksmith.
There
Seriously.
you go.
But it's happened with a few songs since I've been here, and it's great. It's just a nice way to learn this material and to be able to share it too.
It's a good excuse.
Yeah, good excuse.
I just wanted to wait, for Rocksmith.
Yeah, no, that's fair. All right, let's wait no longer. Let's play Back on the Chain Gang by the Pretenders, one of the 5 songs in this week's Pretenders song pack. You can buy individual songs if you're if all of them don't thrill you. I mean, why wouldn't they all thrill you? But you will save a little bit of cash if you buy the bundle, if you buy the full song pack. And yeah, don't hurt nobody with that headstock there, David.
It's unwieldy. Should be on the right front.
I found a picture of you. What hijacked my world at night? To a place in the past we've been cast out of. Now we're back in the fight. We're back on the train. Back on the chain gang.
Love that bass line.
A circumstance beyond our control. The food and the news of the world. Got in the house like a pigeon from hell.
There it is.
Through sand in our eyes and descended like flies. Put us back on the train. Back on the chain gang. Powers that be force us to live like we do. Bring me to my knees when I see what they've done to you. But I'll die as I stand here today, knowing that deep in my heart they'll fall to ruin one day for making us part. I found a picture of you. Those were the happiest days of my life. Like a break in the back.
I'm like, don't fade out. I love those jangly chords. I love that bass line. I love those arpeggiations really just fill up the space in a really beautiful way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have fond memories of these songs too, because I grew up with them as well. But man, it's hard not to sing along and hum along and just tap your foot to all of this stuff.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
Super cool.
It's
That
super
riff
fun to play.
will burn itself into your brain.
Yes, especially if you work in QA. I think there's something to be said there too.
I don't have a brain left.
Oh, yes.
Other people, beware.
Zombie David is
Not
back.
him personally.
Yeah. Hey, now's a good time to do some Q&A. So if you have questions, and I've been trying to answer them as we go, now's a good time to bring them up. Honeypot01 and UB Vertigo are helping to create a document that I can read in real time so that if I miss your question, maybe I'll get a chance to go back and answer it. I want to bring up one small bit of business while people kind of come up with their questions, which is next week is the United States holiday of Thanksgiving. And that traditionally happens on a Thursday, as does our stream. What do? We're not coming in on Thursday, sorry. So please do join us next week. Wednesday the 22nd will be our stream day. We are going to just right. It's 22nd. I think it's 22nd.
That sounds right.
Hold on, I'm standing in front of a computer that has all knowledge. Yes, 22nd. So yeah, we'll just be doing it a day early. We'll give you an advance warning on Twitter. We'll let everybody know. But yeah, we will stream. We'll just stream 24 hours earlier than we normally would so that we can all have a couple of days off. And I don't know about you guys, but I am looking forward so much to having a few days off. First question comes in from Major Makoto. Says he has a question about the stats menu. What constitutes a mastered song in the menu? Is it 110% clear or is it 100% clear? So if you're not familiar, Rocksmith Remastered tracks a heck of a lot of stats, and we show them to you on a very simple stats screen on the game that'll tell you maybe more than you thought. You didn't realize what kind of player you are. We want to give you more of that feedback so that you can understand what kind of player you are and where you want to go and how to set your goals. And one of the things it tells you is how many songs you've mastered. So, David, do you know the answer to that one? When it says number of songs mastered, what is the percentage it's looking for?
Should be 100%.
100%. Okay. So for those of you who have disabled master mode or perhaps simply haven't played a song enough to get it to mastery, 100% is playing all of the notes exactly as they are transcribed. That's top mastery. You're playing the song on full difficulty. It does go to 110%, and that extra 10% is when you don't look at the screen. So slowly, the notes will fade out as you get closer and closer to mastery. The idea of Rocksmith, ironically, is to no longer need you to use Rocksmith. So we've made a product that makes us obsolete. Yay. But if you really know how to play the song and you've internalized it, you don't need to look at the screen. And of course, I think that's the goal of pretty much every guitarist. You want to internalize this music and make it your own. So yes, if you have noticed, or maybe you will soon notice that it does go above 100%. 110% means that the whole song is playing out and it just doesn't show you any of the note track. And when you can do it at 110%, I've seen people post screenshots of 109%. 109.3%, stuff like that.
This had to be tested.
Yeah, somebody had to do it.
New Game Plus.
Yeah, New Game Plus is pretty much it. But the beautiful thing is, you lose the notes, but you gain a song, you gain a life skill. So yeah, check out that stat screen in Remastered. You may be surprised by some of the data that you find. Let me see. I see a couple of jokes that I don't know what I want to do. Victor CG6 has a question for you, Anthony.
Yeah.
Any insight on that augmented seventh chord? Do you know which chord he's referring to?
Sure. I think it's if they're talking about Back on the Chain Gang.
I believe
right?
so. Yeah.
Is it?
That's all it says.
Oh, okay.
Just any insight on that AUG7 chord is what the question was. Is it particularly a difficult song to play? Or?
No, not with this voicing. It's actually so I have a tip for you actually. So you can finger both chords because there's like a little suspension happening. So I got that tone going, very nice. You'll find that it's similar to a D sus4 to a D major, like those shapes that you would play here in the second position. You're only shifting up 3 frets up to the 5th position, and moving to an adjacent string set. So here I'm using an open A, and then I have my index finger here on G on the D string. Yeah, doesn't that sound?
It's
Yeah,
dramatic.
I love
It's
that.
really great. I love seventh
Are we in a
chords
Hitchcock
anyway.
movie?
So I'll
Listen,
continue.
do you smell something? Yeah.
So I'm using my ring finger to hit G at the 6th fret, my pinky right behind it, B at the 6th fret, and then I want to line up the next chord shape by. Let me kill the sound for a second.
Oh, it's beautiful though.
Fretting the 5th fret on the B string with my 2nd finger. Thanks, Travis. To get that effect. And it might be awkward to play in this position because you have to mute the high E string and then mute the lower E string as well. So it's not as easy or accessible as the D sus4 to D major shape, but it's a similar motion with your fingers. So that's pretty much how I see it, and it made it easier for me to play. The trick is switching from this barred D minor shape to this shape, and I would just go into riff repeater.
And just give yourself time to figure out how to move those fingers around.
Yeah, practice transitioning from one chord shape to the next, and you'll find that the second time around, when it goes back to the A augmented 7 chord, the rhythmic phrasing is a little different. So that's something to note when you're in riff repeater if you decide to try this out in riff repeater. But yeah, I mean, hopefully that helped. It's a similar fingering to more conventional chord voicings that you may have seen in other songs.
Sure.
And it's nice to make those relationships too, because you might be playing a different chord, but the fingerings will probably be familiar and easy to play.
I have another cue for you from Dante 2002. Is the first intro on this song tracked in an alternate lead for Chain Gang? Is there some part of the song that's not tracked in? Oh,
so that's I think it's the rhythm guitar part that. There's like another like
singy chord,
the opening ringing chord,
chorusy kind of guitar. Yeah, that's playing chord. That's in the rhythm path.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's more of like a hum and strum arrangement with the voicings that Chrissy plays. And they're really cool.
Don't be afraid to play rhythm guitar, everybody. Remember,
yeah, there's a lot.
On behalf of rhythm guitarists everywhere.
Those are actually the chords I was talking about when I mentioned there were things that you don't see in a lot of our other songs.
Oh, okay.
There's a couple chords that are fairly unique to this song.
Yeah.
In the rhythm path and the lead,
And you'll find in that arrangement, a lot of the chord shapes are similar, or like the fingerings, and it's just you're taking that shape and moving it down into another position. So they're kind of easy to learn. But I would recommend giving it a shot. Hopefully that answers that.
I think that answers it well. I have one other question because then we are running a bit late, and I want to keep going. Only because it ties into a plug that I want to give. Still Games says, are you planning on making a tone designer tutorial on your YouTube channel, very similar to the one that you did with the session mode? That would be really helpful. It's funny you mention. It's not 100% confirmed, but on a future Encore, a Rocksmith Encore, we do a bonus stream for stuff that isn't what we'd normally do here. I do want to cover effects and tone designer and sort of a primer on effects and using tone designer as a way to get into that. And then, of course, we would also talk about how to use tone designer there too. We may actually have a YouTube video that shows how to do tone designer, but I don't know if anybody walks through it the way that Nick Bernardi walks through session mode. Session mode really is a different animal. I mean, it's unique to Rocksmith, and so that really felt like, okay, let's have Nick walk you through. Whereas tone designer is kind of like a toy box full of effects pedals where you can't break anything, and if you just start twisting knobs or virtual knobs, you'll get some of it. But I totally understand that, and I do want to get more into that stuff. Hopefully on a future Rocksmith Encore. We have one coming up at the end of the month. We're not 100% sure on what the topic for that is going to be, but it might be tones and tone designer. So duly noted, and hopefully something that we can answer soon. Thank you both. Unfortunately, I do have to keep going, but I really appreciate the extra insight on this song. I think it's iconic, and a lot of people definitely do want to play it. So in case you missed it, we have other songs similar to this that you might like. I mean, if you like jangly guitars and really sweet melodies and very tasteful playing, man, it's hard to go wrong with Elliot Easton from the Cars. Absolutely one of my favorite players and one of the underrated players, I think. Now, you'll notice I've tried to do something different this time. One of my best friend's girl is there in italics. There is a Cars song pack, which is the first 5 songs, and then as a single, you can also get my best friend's girl. That's also part of our library. It's just not part of the main Cars pack. But if you're interested in any of those songs, these are contemporaries of the Pretenders, certainly when they were doing hits in the 80s. And then, of course, the Police is a band that I grew up listening to the Police. Part of the reason that I love chorus effects is because I grew up listening to Andy Summers and the Police. And we, once again, we have 3 songs in the Police pack and then an additional song on top of that you can find elsewhere. I'm not sure. Is Every Breath You Take on the disc or is it a single? It's just not part of the pack. So look around and I'm sure you'll find it. But all of those are also available if you're digging the vibes that you're getting from the Pretenders. Again, every band is different. Every band has a different sound and is unique. But these might be compatible with your tastes. That's my guess, and that's what I try to do with the In Case You Missed It cards. As it was mentioned before on the show, we do have a version on iOS. And the iOS version is currently only available in Canada during soft launch, but we are bringing up DLC. We are bringing out DLC every week for that, and I'm happy to say that we have that now. The DLC songs, can I get some DLC graphics, y'all? We have packs this week. I believe one is the Pretenders. Yes, we have the 5-pack of Pretenders that we're playing this week. All of these are available on iOS if you would like to play it there. And we also have another pack coming out this week. What we're trying to do is go through the back of our content and all of our other stuff and get that up on the iOS thing as much as we can. Obviously, this is a different musical license, so we have to go back and say, oh, the rules that we have before don't go now. So we were able to clear that for Focus, for Marvin Gaye, and for George Baker Selection in a 70s pack. We have several 70s packs, and you can actually bundle these pretty easily on iOS if you like. So all of this is available. I think we're just coming up on 200 songs. As usual, Toy Machine SH keeps track of some of the data that often slips my mind, and I'm pretty sure he was keeping track of all the songs in iOS, and I think he said we were like 193 or something last week. If I were to check the chat right now, I'm sure he'd already be correcting me. But in any case, when is iOS coming out to the U.S.? Asks several people, including Arn Nunez 64, brought that up in the chat room before. When is this coming out in the U.S.? There is no official release date. We are still continuing to improve it. This week, the big news that I mentioned 3 weeks ago that actually came true this week is we now support iPhone. So before, when we launched, it was only on iPad, and we were getting things stable and adding some more features and doing that stuff, and then we said once we get it to a certain point, then we'll be able to expand it to iPhone. So that's one of the reasons it's in soft launch, is because there's lots of things that we want to do before we take this global. I am happy to say that it works just great on iPhone. You might not think so, but hey, call my bluff. Check it out. We would love to hear your feedback. It is a free download on the Canadian iTunes Store, and there's no problem hearing back from you on our forums or on the iTunes Store. I know people sometimes don't think it matters, but it really does matter when we get feedback from you. Lil Wongsta actually in our chat room left us a really beautifully long list of things that he liked and didn't like and things that he felt worked and could work better. That's the kind of feedback we're dying for at this stage of the product, because we've put a lot of work into this with our team in Osaka and folks here, and we're trying to make the very best iOS product that we can for Rocksmith, and it's free to play. So if you're in Canada and you have an iOS device, that's an iPhone, an iPod Touch, or an iPad, it will now run on any of those. So check it out. Let us know what you think. We would really, really like to hear from you. And I'm happy to say that everybody's in place for our next song. And look, it's 2 people who are not note trackers. So how the hell did this happen? I'd like to welcome Emmy Batista. Hi, Emmy, off on the side. And Vincent, I'm going to say it correctly. Vincent Minot? Minoué. Oh, it is 3. It's like Nimue. It's like
it's like a Minoué, but
Happy Ubisoft French Wine Day, by the way. Yeah, because I don't know how to say Beaujolais. Yeah, exactly.
It's a good day.
Actually, we should probably define that. Ubisoft has vineyards, right?
Oh, of course.
Yes, of course. We're French. It's a French company. Why wouldn't they? And once a year, we have a celebration of the fresh of the wine for that year, and they give us some, and so we have a little wine and cheese party. So that's one of the reasons I am hurrying, because that is today, and we all want to go and enjoy Ubisoft wine and cheese. You both asked me right away, I want to play on the Pretenders, which, again, we love having extra people on, but this is unusual in that neither one of you did the note tracker, and we always have the note tracker on. But you guys trumped the note tracker. So thank you, Sam,
Sam,
who will appear later. But Sam is actually the person who tracked, don't get me wrong, what was it that attracted you both to this song that made you want to play it on the air? On the air.
Well, this is my favorite Pretender song.
Okay.
So I was like, I gotta play it.
All right, fair enough. Is it that simple, Vincent?
I wouldn't say it's my favorite because I love them all and like.
Oh.
Yeah, but it's really fun to play. You know, it's you want to dance when you want to move, you want to.
I do.
So.
Fair enough.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So Vincent's going to be playing rhythm. Emmy, you're playing bass, but it looks like you're adjusting the bass, let's say.
Yeah. So this is not my favorite. This is not the bass I've practiced on.
Okay.
So Kevin, that one has technical issues. So now I'm going to try to play this one.
You'll be fine.
I'm aiming for 80%.
Okay, that's fair. So a reminder that, Rocksmith does not start you at 100% on any given song. When you sit down to play, it assesses what your relative skill is based on all the other songs that you've played. It assumes that you've never played guitar before, so you sort of have to prove yourself for a little while, and then it will automatically set the song's difficulty at a place where it thinks you'll be comfortable. And then if you are super comfortable, it will continue to raise that difficulty. So the way that we play it here is just let's show the full 100% note track so that everybody can see all the notes. That's not actually how most people experience Rocksmith. So I always encourage people, if you don't feel like you can do it at 100%, do it at 80%, do it at 50%. Let people see what Rocksmith's actual experience is. So thank you, Emmy. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's play it. This is Don't Get Me Wrong. Man, I won concert tickets to this when this album was out, when Get Close was out. I won concert tickets on the radio, and I could not go to the show.
What?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I want to hear this song live. My sister went. She enjoyed it. Okay, two things. One, hey, applause. Emmy, by the way, Emmy is our production coordinator. Hi, Emmy. Emmy's the reason that things come out on platforms and often works with our first-party partners. You played that at 80%, but if you had played that like in a garage band or a bar band or something, I would never know that all the notes weren't there. Like that was a really good representation of what is needed to drive that song. So that worked really well. How far up did you go? Did you take? It looks like you may have actually built it up to 100% as you went. Did you notice more notes sneaking in?
No, I was busy trying to. My guitar was sliding. The bass was sliding.
You know, there's a strap.
Yeah,
you could
but due to the technical failure of the other one, I was trying to keep it from sliding down.
Sorry.
So I was like, whoopoo.
Well, it sounded fine. It sounded great.
Yes. All right.
And Vincent, people were very impressed with your rhythm playing. They were like, he's got rhythm on lock, and his rhythm hand. You had a very effortless, comfortable rhythm. That is something that I think a lot of people struggle with because they get tense and then they wind up strumming harder and it doesn't strum. Your strums were super even. Is this just time, or is it something? Is this a conscious decision for you, the way that you play rhythm, or is this just something that's developed over the years?
It's a mix of both. I think always I remember when I was a teenager and some people would ask me, "How do you do this rhythm?" I don't know. I just do it.
Right. I'm just that cool. I don't know, guys. Sorry.
But I think that it's especially with this song, and I made some mistakes because I was just having fun and just relaxing and enjoying, and then you lose the tension. Like
right.
I think that the rhythm guitar is a lot about that. Just feel the music, have fun playing it, and let your body take the music and follow it.
It's hard. It's easy to say that, but I think people are looking for, but what steps do I take to get relaxed? You know, and that there is a certain there is a certain wisdom.
You can have a drink before you play.
Well, I don't recommend that, depending on what age you are. We're a family show. But yeah, I mean, like I mean, again, I identify as a rhythm guitarist, and everything that you said makes sense, but it makes sense because that's been my experience as well. That I just sort of like. I just connect with it on that level. And it took me a while to do that. But I can't think of any specific steps that I took to become comfortable or try to, just internalize certain rhythms.
I think maybe having something you sing in your head, like for me, when I hear this song, and I'm just trying to do that with my guitar. And I also use my left hand where I do some little playing with just to add this layer of rhythm, like so my right hand is actually not so focused. Then I have this, so I think that a little bit
balances out.
Yeah, it balances out. Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, thank you both very much. Really groovy. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Hey, folks, we always get requests for songs, and hopefully you know. So what I really wanted you to do was study and have a moment of zen. And it wasn't because I threw this slide into our presentations at the last minute and forgot to actually put my own mic audio in there. This was totally just so that you would think about what your requests were before you went to any of the yellow characters. I'm going to lie straight up. So yeah, I'm happy to say that we used to have a request a request app that was only through our Facebook page on the U.S. page, and that was very difficult. It didn't work with mobile phones very well. If you didn't use the U.S. page, because we have international Facebook pages for Rocksmith, you may not have even knew that it existed. So I'm happy to say that's no longer the case. We've got that URL, bit.ly/rsreq. Goes to rocksmith.com/requests, and it's mobile friendly. It's HTML based. You can hit it from just about any device. Super cool. Should work absolutely fine. How you doing there, Sam? Are you
good, man.
dabbing?
No.
Were you okay? Good. Thank goodness you didn't dab, because I'd be like, friend. Hi, Sam Schwartz. How are you? Boy, it seems like it's been I don't know, 3 weeks since we were up here alone together in front of the cameras. Must have been that Rocksmith Encore that we did together.
Oh
yeah,
that one.
yeah. If you are not familiar, Sam did our most recent Rocksmith Encore. That's a bonus stream we have here on Twitch, and you can watch the replay in our Twitch archives, where Sam attempted to teach me how to play guitar better.
Oh, you learned great. You were a wonderful student.
It was actually a lot of fun, because Sam's idea was that you might know more than you think you know. You might not have considered how to combine different techniques that you already know from different aspects of playing different songs or different exercises, and that sometimes it's just how you envision that music, and learning that it's okay to sort of break out of your existing habits. And so he helped me break out of a couple of habits, and literally it's a lot of fun to watch, because my enthusiasm and surprise as he shows me things that I didn't realize that I'm allowed to do that, or I can do that. It's entirely genuine. So if you'd like to check that out, it's here on Twitch.
There's that moment where I think you move the lick and B from the Brooks and Dunn tune down to A, and there's this moment where you can see it in your face, and you're like, oh my God, Matrix, I know Kung Fu.
Yeah, it totally was.
And you're and you can totally see it in your face. It's really great. It's a great moment.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So yeah, check it out if you haven't seen it. It's it's a lot of fun.
Well, thank you for doing it.
Oh, no problem.
And thank you for tracking our final song of the day, which is "Middle of the Road" by the Pretenders.
Didn't.
Oh, that's right, you didn't. This is also a Jason Cokel
I think
joint.
it's a Cokel tune.
As sometimes happens, the way that we note track stuff here is who's available. And Cokel was able to do 2 songs out of the pack, but so that he doesn't have to come back and play twice. And since we had other people that wanted to play the song that you tracked, just don't get me wrong, I said, would you be willing to do this? Because I also really wanted to see you play the solo, because the solo.
Oh, I can't play
the
the solo to save my life.
But you're playing on lead.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
It says you're going to play on lead.
I'm going to basically pody this one.
Oh, all right. Okay, that's.
But I practiced.
You know what? I think
I was trying to do like those licks and stuff. I mean, like it is very Slam and Telecaster kind of style,
Right.
Yeah.
I think that your faking through it is probably going to sound better than most other people's faking through it.
We're about to find out.
Are you in drop D?
I just dropped the D.
You dropped the D?
Yeah.
Okay. This is odd because the guitar is in drop D, but the bass is in E standard. So
is that right?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
All right, so let's do Middle of the Road, because we've got another giveaway to get to. In addition to all that wine and cheese I was talking about before. Let's do it. It's Middle of the Road, one of the 5 songs in this week's
Perfect.
Pretenders song pack. The ultimate Pretenders tone.
Pretend to suffer. Okay, here we go.
And I'm playing bass just because I like it.
That's right.
I'm also under-practiced.
This riff is so good.
Just trying to find me. I'm standing in the middle of life with my pants behind me. I got a smile for everyone I meet. As long as you don't time dragging my bag, dropping the bomb on my street. Come on, baby. Get in the road. Come on now. In the middle of the road, yeah.
I needed more time to practice this week.
Who are you telling?
The internet.
Oh, God. Sorry, internet. so hard to get that band exactly right.
Yeah. Such a good groove.
Like we're like the aerobics video, like right during that bass line.
There we go. I'm glad you got some of the tremolo action in there, man. That was fun.
Oh man, it's so much fun. I actually like the ones. I love having different types of tremolos. Like I have one on my Strat that's a little bit more like this is like a GNL Strat, and it's a little bit. And I like this. It's just a little more resistance.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. So like I bet you if it flutters real well, like if you do. Yeah, it doesn't quite go up. It doesn't quite work with the flutter, but the amount
there's
of
a lot of
tension
springs on there.
The springs are like really tense, but it gives it so like it just dips just a little bit, and it gives you a little resistance. Like on my Ibanez or like on one of Pody's guitars, if I do a dive bomb, it sweeps into the seventh layer, and picks up the groceries from the seventh layer. It's ridiculous how low it goes, but for these it's just a little bit, and so it's cool to have those different kinds of vibrato.
That bass line is super fun. My whole performance was sort of reminds me of my my college days of mud wrestling. Embarrassingly messy, but lots of fun. And
whoa,
yeah,
great.
I can't say that I did a good job, but I certainly had a lot of fun with it. And that's a bass line I want to go back to. And this kind of once I got warmed up, I'm like, oh yeah. And then I couldn't even remember whether it was pick or not. I don't know if you know. I immediately grabbed a pick because I'm scared and I don't remember.
I
totally
couldn't
once.
remember how to. Yeah, I played through this maybe twice.
But that's something I probably could have played with my fingers just fine.
Yeah.
But in any case, super fun, and thank you for jumping in on it.
Oh, my pleasure. It's a lot of fun. Pick up this pack, guys. This is what, for the note trackers. I'm going to speak for everybody and say that we all had a lot of fun tracking this pack. It's
cool.
A lot of fun.
Happy to hear it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's just about it, except we got one more thing. Could I ask you to swap out with the man in the blue outfit there?
Sure.
Can I ask you to just jump out? Because that's going to let us do this. We have a special guest that we want to say farewell to before we finish up. And that is Honeypot01. Those of you who have been following our chat room for a while may recognize the name Honeypot01, but I don't think we've ever had him on the show. This is Samuel. Hi, Samuel.
Hey, Dan.
Samuel, our intern, makes us all look bad by actually wearing a tie to the office. I tried to enforce a Ramones dress code, which is if Joey Ramone wouldn't wear it, neither should you to the office. But you insisted on being professional, so...
I actually do it because I'm trying to make you look good.
No, no. This I look like a slob compared to you. What it shows is that you care about your work, and you should assume the opposite about my own dress. But so you've been here. You've been helping with Rocksmith for about 3 months, but you have been
6 months, closer to 6 months.
Is it closer to 6 months?
Yeah, time flies. I know.
Well, that and you got pulled to work on several other things because
Yeah.
you helped behind the scenes on some South Park stuff, some Rabbids, Mario plus Rabbids stuff, and sort of like such as the life of a Ubisoft intern is that you go where you are needed. You're like Mary Poppins, y'all.
Wherever I was called.
Yeah, just sort of like I have to go help other people, and away you go on an umbrella.
That's very accurate.
Yeah, but so I wanted to thank you because obviously it's been easier. We worked out the whole system that we're using now for figuring out what questions are being asked so that I don't miss them. I still have a few more questions that I did not get to that have not been lost. They're on that document. So stick around when we're done during the trailer. I will finish up answering those questions. But you helped with Doug to create and sort of implement that system. I think Doug created the document, but you've been like refining it as we go, and you're one of the people that actually cuts and pastes the stuff and puts it in there. So
it's kind of evolved organically, but it did start out as Doug's idea. So shout out to UB Vertigo. Thank you for that.
Vertigo.
But it's really helped us stay up to speed with keeping up with the questions that you guys are asking in the chat, and it helps us remain engaged with you.
Yeah,
so.
it matters. We wish to engage with you. What's next now that your internship is over?
I have grand plans.
Gonna walk the earth like
I'm
Kane
going
and
to
Kung
be a
Fu?
full-time Twitch streamer.
No, everybody's doing that.
No. I'll probably just be playing Rocksmith at home until I beat the game.
Yeah, no, because if you can be, it's like Tetris, where once you beat it, you never have to go back to it ever again. And yeah,
I mean, I might actually just be outside at the front door waiting for you to let me in.
Sure. Are you gonna go busking?
Busking?
Yeah, busking. Going into the BART stations and playing guitar.
We'll go with that.
And yeah,
full-time busker.
Yeah. Well, cool. I hope you do come. I hope you stick around. And if you see Honeypot 01, just know he's intern emeritus. Like you've earned your stripes.
Thank you. I actually have every intention of still tuning into the streams every Thursday, so you guys will still see me. I'm not going too far. And I also know where all of my colleagues frequent the places for lunch around here, so they can't get rid of me that easily.
That's true. It'll be like,
so
oh, what
I'm
is
not going too far.
Yeah, okay. Here's a 2-word hint, Taco Bell. Yeah, I just thank you very much.
No, it's been a pleasure
for
working
being
with
here.
you. Working with Dan has been great. He always takes the time to answer my questions and
Cut
make
him
sure
off. Cut off his mic. No
I wanna say
compliments
this.
for Dan.
Make sure that I have everything I need for us to succeed as a team. So, I want to thank you, Dan.
I hate compliments.
that.
Don't take them well.
Yeah. And also, shout out to the Rocksmith community, because as far as online communities go, you guys are some of the most positive, supportive, and welcoming people. And the game Rocksmith wouldn't be what it is today without you guys. So thank you.
I would also like to echo the sentiment of my opponent here in the debates.
Intern, not opponent.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm super proud of the community, and I've seen other communities that aren't as supportive as this one, and I think part of it comes from everybody walking the same path at their own pace. And so if somebody says, I'm having trouble on this song or something, there's people that will chime in and say, I've been there. Let me see if I can help you get past that, because they know how good it feels to get past that. So I appreciate that. And thank you for being part of it. And thank you for helping steer it and build it. And the
pleasure was mine.
I wish you nothing but luck.
Thank you, sir.
Because you're going to need luck,
Thank
man.
you. He hates it when I call him sir.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so much. I've not been knighted. In any case. Hey, so as I mentioned, we do have another giveaway to give away. So let's give that giveaway away. And guess who's going to send that box out to you?
That's going to be me.
Damn it, I have to build my own boxes as of next week. So that's everything you see there is available as part of this giveaway. What we've got is a lovely kit from our friends at Ernie Ball. I specifically put this gear together asking, what could any guitarist or bassist of any skill level use? Can everybody use a spare strap? I think they can. Should everybody have a peg winder in their gig bag? They absolutely should. What about strings? Everybody needs them. Whether you play guitar or bass, you're going to get a set of regular slinky strings for your guitar or your bass. The Wonder Wipes is something that can be used on every single instrument out there. You can clean your strings, polish your guitar, moisturize your fretboard. It's all good stuff. And then, of course, picks. We all go through picks. We all have a lot lot of picks, and you can never have too many picks, as I unfortunately have proven time and time again with the zillions of picks that I have. You're going to get 12 from Ernie Ball and 3 from us here. The white and black design that you see there is the 1,000-song milestone picks. These are running out, but I'll continue to send them out while we have them. And we're mixing in some of the new pink Skullboy picks. That's actually the one that I used to play today on the stream. So all of this can be yours if you follow UB Vertigo's advice in our chat room. Doug is the master of the giveaways, and he will tell you what you need to know. And that's pretty much it, and I wish you good luck if that's in the cards for you. So next week, as I mentioned, we will be back, but it's not Thursday next week. The United States has a holiday of Thanksgiving, and our office is closed, and we're going to take advantage of that and not come into the office for 1 week. Well, I mean, we'll be here on Wednesday, so let's do it on Wednesday. Wednesday the 22nd at 3 p.m. will be our stream. Don't believe any of the other rumors, but we will send out some reminders about that time change over the course of Twitter and Facebook. Twitter, of course, twitter.com/Rocksmith Game, or just @Rocksmith Game if you're already in the Twitterverse. And Facebook is /Rocksmith. So we will let you know about that, but you know, scribble it down now. Remember, Wednesday the 22nd, not Thursday the 23rd next week for our stream. The DLC that's coming is something I think that people are going to like, but I think that every week, so don't read into that. In any case, if you'd like to get a hint about what that's going to be, stop by the Rocksmith.com forums, and you will actually get a little puzzle or some sort of clue tomorrow from our friend Rolling Stone 222, and you can solve that with your fellow forumites, forum goers, forum missioners. I don't know what you would call people that visit a forum. Formers? Forumers, says Travis Kindred. But do we believe him? I don't know. I believe him when it comes to things of base, but I don't know about, you know, like, what do you call, like, a clouder of cats and a what of forumers? An unruly pitchfork-wielding mob of forumers generally seems. But I'm happy to say that the Rocksmith.com forum is a lot friendlier, as we were saying. So we're going to leave you with another look at the 5 songs of The Pretenders, available now on all platforms, including iOS. If you're up in Canada, give the free-to-play version of Rocksmith a shot, especially now that it's compatible with your iPhone and iPod Touch, as well as your iPad. We will see you next week. Thanks very much for tuning in. And again, thank you to Samuel for helping us out all these months. And thanks to our special guests, Emmy and Vincent, for coming in. Thanks to Sam for taking one for the team and letting somebody else play a song. That's really unusual. But we'll see you here next week on Wednesday. Bye, everybody.
I found a picture of you. Hijack my world at night to a place in the past we've been cast out of. Now we're back in the fight. We're back on the train. Back on the chain gang. Circumstance beyond our control. In the middle of the road, we see the darndest things, like feckers driving round in jeeps through the city, wearing big diamond rings and silk suits, past corrugated tin shacks full of kids. So man, I don't mean a Hampstead nursery. When you own a big chunk of the bloody third world, the babies just come with the scenery. Now come on, baby, get in the road.